Success is deeply personal and subjective, a lesson I've learned through my journey from a little girl in Kosciuszko, Mississippi, to a global platform that reaches millions. For a long time, I thought success was about achieving big dreams and gaining recognition. And while those things are fulfilling in their own way, they don't truly define what success means. It took me years of living, working, failing, and growing to understand that success is not a one-size-fits-all concept. It's not about comparing yourself to others or living up to society's expectations. Success at its core is about defining your life on your own terms. When I was growing up, I faced many challenges: poverty, abuse, and feelings of unworthiness. The world had already decided what I could and could not do based on my circumstances. If I had let those expectations define me, I would have never stepped outside the box society had placed me in. Instead, I decided to ask myself, what do I truly want? What would make me feel fulfilled? Those questions became my guiding light. Defining your own version of success is the key to living an authentic life. Society will always have a list of things it deems important: wealth, fame, status. But if those things don't align with your inner truth, they will never make you happy. Early in my career, I thought the goal was to climb the ladder, to be seen and admired. But even as I achieved professional milestones, I often felt empty inside. It wasn't until I began asking myself what brought me joy and purpose that I started to redefine success for myself. For me, success became about impact. It became about using my platform to create meaningful conversations, to inspire others to grow, and to live a life of service. Once I embraced this personal definition, everything began to shift. I stopped chasing accolades and started focusing on authenticity. And in doing so, I found true success not in the awards or the recognition, but in the quiet knowing that I was aligned with my purpose. Your success might look completely different. It might be raising a loving family, pursuing an art that feeds your soul, or contributing to a cause that matters deeply to you. And that's the beauty of it. No one gets to decide what success looks like for you but you. When you let go of the world's definition and create your own, you free yourself to live fully and unapologetically. The secret is this: success isn't about where you arrive, it's about how you feel as you live your life. Are you joyful? Are you at peace? Are you living in alignment with who you are? These are the markers of true success. It's not about meeting external expectations, it's about fulfilling the promise you've made to yourself to live authentically, purposefully, and meaningfully. That's where real success lies. For a long time, I believed success was measured by the accolades, the applause, and the achievements. But what I've come to understand is that true success isn't about what you accomplish, it's about how fulfilled you feel in your life. Fulfillment is the key. It's the inner peace that comes from knowing you are living a life aligned with your purpose, doing what lights you up, and contributing in ways that feel meaningful to you. Without fulfillment, all the achievements in the world can feel hollow. I remember when I was at the height of my talk show success. By all external measures, I had made it. The ratings were sky high, my name was known around the world, and I was being celebrated as a pioneer in daytime television. Yet, there were moments when I felt unfulfilled, almost disconnected from the very success I had worked so hard to achieve. That's because I was chasing the next big milestone, the next thing that would prove to myself and to the world that I was enough. The turning point came when I realized that fulfillment doesn't come from what you achieve, it comes from being in alignment with your soul. I had to stop and ask myself what really matters to me, what gives my life meaning. And the answer wasn't the awards or the acclaim, it was the ability to use my platform to uplift and inspire others. It was the moments when I felt I had made a difference, even if it was just for one person. That's when I began to shift my focus from chasing external validation to cultivating internal fulfillment. Fulfillment is about doing what nourishes your spirit. It's about finding joy in the everyday moments and feeling a sense of purpose in the work you do. It's about knowing that your life reflects your deepest values and desires. For me, fulfillment comes from being of service, from helping others see their own worth and potential. Every time someone tells me, "You changed my life," I feel more fulfilled than any award or recognition could ever make me feel. It's important to understand that fulfillment is deeply personal. What fulfills me might not fulfill you. And that's okay. The question you must ask yourself is, what makes me feel whole? What brings me peace and joy? It's not always about the big, grand gestures sometimes. Fulfillment is found in the quiet moments, in being present, in knowing that you are living a life true to yourself. True success isn't about ticking off accomplishments on a checklist. It's about feeling deeply satisfied with the life you're creating. When you live in alignment with your purpose and focus on what truly matters to you, fulfillment follows. And when you're fulfilled, success isn't just something you achieve, it's something you feel. That's the greatest success of all. One of the greatest lessons I've learned in life is that success is never a straight line. It's filled with twists, turns, and sometimes heartbreak. Failure is an inevitable part of the journey, but what I've come to understand is that failure isn't the opposite of success, it's a necessary part of it. Every failure I've experienced has taught me something I needed to know, shaped me into the person I needed to become, and prepared me for the next step on my path. Overcoming failure is where resilience is born, and it's where success truly begins. When I was just starting out, I faced rejection after rejection. One of my first jobs in television ended abruptly when I was told I wasn't fit to be on air. Imagine hearing that your dream, the thing you've worked so hard for, might never happen. I was devastated. But what I learned through that experience was that sometimes failure isn't about doors closing, it's about being redirected to something better. That so-called failure led me to a new opportunity that allowed me to discover my true voice and style. Without that setback, I might never have found my path to the Oprah Winfrey Show. Failure teaches you things success never can. It forces you to reflect, to dig deeper, and to ask yourself the hard questions: what went wrong? What can I learn? How can I learn? How can I grow from this? The truth is, every failure carries within it a seed of wisdom if you're willing to look for it. And when you take those lessons and apply them, you become stronger, wiser, and better prepared for the opportunities ahead. One of the most powerful shifts you can make is to stop fearing failure and start embracing it as a teacher. When you fail, it's not a reflection of your worth, it's simply a result, a stepping stone. You are not your failures, and they don't define your potential. What defines you is how you rise after falling, how you keep going even when the road is tough. I've always believed that it's not the successes that build character, it's how you handle the failures. The key to overcoming failure is to shift your perspective. Instead of asking, why is this happening to me, ask, what is this teaching me? Every time I faced failure, I reminded myself that it was temporary, that it wasn't the end of my story, but a chapter in it. I used each setback as fuel to keep moving forward. And here's the beauty of it: when you overcome failure, the success that follows is that much sweeter. You appreciate it more because you know what it took to get there. Failure isn't something to fear, it's something to embrace. It's part of the process, part of the journey, and ultimately part of what makes success so meaningful. If you can face failure with courage and curiosity, you'll discover that it's not the end, it's a new beginning. And that's where the magic happens. One of the most important truths I've learned is that success isn't just about talent or luck, it's about the work you put in day after day. The secret is in the consistency, the discipline to keep showing up even when it's hard, even when you're tired, even when the results aren't coming as quickly as you'd like. Success is not a one-time event, it's the result of small, intentional actions repeated over time. It's not glamorous and it's not always exciting, but it is powerful. When I think back to the early days of my career, I realized that everything I achieved was built on a foundation of consistency. Whether it was waking up before dawn to prepare for a broadcast, staying late to refine a segment, or taking the time to connect with my audience on a deeper level, I was willing to do the work. And not just once or twice, I did it every single day. That's what separates those who dream of success from those who achieve it: the ability to commit to the process, even when it's difficult. Consistency requires discipline, and discipline is a muscle you have to strengthen. There were so many days when I didn't feel like putting in the work, when it would have been easier to quit or to settle for good enough. But I made a choice to keep going, to honor the commitments I had made to myself and to others. And what I've learned is that when you stay consistent, when you keep showing up, the universe has a way of rewarding your efforts. Opportunities arise, doors open, and progress happens, but only if you've put in the work to be ready for them. It's also important to understand that consistency isn't about being perfect. It's not about never making mistakes or never falling short. It's about getting back on track when you falter. There were times when I felt like I had failed, when I questioned whether I was on the right path. But I didn't let those moments stop me. I reminded myself that progress isn't linear, and that every step forward, no matter how small, matters. Success is often the result of compound effort. The little things you do every day add up over time. Whether it's practicing your craft, investing in your relationships, or taking care of your health, consistency is what creates momentum. And that momentum, once built, can carry you through the toughest times. The truth is, anyone can be consistent for a day or a week, but those who are willing to stay consistent over months and years are the ones who achieve extraordinary results. It's not always easy, and it's not always fun, but it's always worth it. So if you want to succeed, don't focus solely on the big wins or the end goal. Focus on the small, consistent actions that will get you there. Because when you do, success becomes inevitable. If there is one thing I've learned throughout my journey, it is that success starts in the mind. The way you think about yourself, your circumstances, and your potential determines how far you'll go. I've seen this truth play out not only in my life, but in the lives of countless others. The difference between those who achieve their dreams and those who don't often comes down to mindset. A growth mindset, the belief that you can learn, improve, and overcome challenges, is the foundation of all success. Without it, you limit what is possible for yourself. I wasn't always confident in my abilities. Growing up in poverty and facing countless obstacles, I could have easily adopted a mindset of limitation. I could have accepted the narrative that my circumstances defined my future. But something inside me refused to believe that. I started to see every challenge as an opportunity to grow. Instead of saying, "Why me?" I asked, "What can I learn from this?" That shift in thinking changed everything. A growth mindset allows you to see failure not as an endpoint, but as a stepping stone. I've experienced plenty of setbacks in my career times when things didn't go as planned or when others doubted me. But instead of letting those moments defeat me, I used them to learn and adapt. Each failure taught me something new, and every lesson brought me closer to my goals. That's what a growth mindset does. It turns obstacles into opportunities and setbacks into comebacks. The way you talk to yourself is also a powerful part of your mindset. If you tell yourself you're not good enough, not smart enough, not smart enough, not talented enough, those beliefs will shape your actions. But when you affirm your potential, when you remind yourself that you are capable of growth and greatness, you open the door to incredible possibilities. I've always been a believer in the power of intention. What you focus on expands. If you focus on your strengths and your ability to grow, you will create opportunities for yourself that you never imagined. One of the greatest tools for developing a growth mindset is embracing challenges. When you step out of your comfort zone, you stretch yourself in ways that build resilience and confidence. Every time you try something new or face a fear, you prove to yourself that you are capable of more than you thought. And with every success, no matter how small, your belief in yourself grows. Success isn't about being perfect or knowing everything. It's about being willing to learn and grow. It's about understanding that you don't have to have it all figured out right now. You just have to take the next step. With a growth mindset, there are no limits to what you can achieve. You become unstoppable because you understand that every experience, whether good or bad, is an opportunity to become better, stronger, and wiser. And that is the key to unlocking your full potential. If there's one thing I've learned about success, it's that it cannot exist without alignment. True success isn't about chasing what others think you should want. It's about living in harmony with your own values, passions, and purpose. It's about being true to who you are at your core. When your life reflects what you truly believe and love, you feel fulfilled, and success becomes not just an achievement, but a state of being. I spent many years of my career striving for external success ratings, awards, recognition. And while those things brought a sense of accomplishment, I realized something was missing. I was achieving goals, but wasn't always connected to the why behind them. That's when I began to ask myself the deeper questions: what do I stand for? What do I want my life to represent? Answering those questions changed everything. I discovered that the work that truly mattered to me was work that inspired others, lifted them, and helped them see their own potential. That realization shifted my focus from chasing success to pursuing alignment with my purpose. Living in alignment with your values means making choices that honor who you are. It's about saying yes to opportunities that resonate with your heart and no to things that don't. I learned this the hard way. Early in my career, I took on projects that didn't feel authentic to me, and the result was exhaustion and frustration. But when I started making decisions based on what felt true to me, when I started honoring my instincts and passions, I found not only success but joy. The work became more meaningful because it reflected who I really was. The same is true for passion. Passion isn't just something you feel, it's something you live. It's the energy that fuels you, even when the work is hard. When you align your life with what you're passionate about, the journey itself becomes the reward. Every step, every effort feels worthwhile because you're doing what you love. For me, creating a platform where people could tell their stories and inspire others was my passion. When I leaned into that, everything else fell into place. But alignment doesn't just happen, it requires self-awareness. You have to take the time to know yourself, to listen to that inner voice that guides you. What brings you joy? What feels right in your soul? When you answer those questions honestly, you create a roadmap for your life that leads to true success. Ultimately, success isn't just about what you achieve, it's about who you become in the process. When your actions, decisions, and goals are in harmony with your values and passions, you don't just succeed, you thrive. Success feels lighter, freer, and more fulfilling because it comes from a place of authenticity. And that's the greatest gift you can give yourself: a life that's not just successful by the world's standards, but meaningful to you. That's where true success lies.